So without further ado, welcome everyone. It's so great to see you all. Thank you for making time in your weekends and lockdowns and 2021 to join us for our first Tech Talk of 2021. My name is Haley. I think you all know me, but I'm one of the program coordinators for TechGirls, and really excited to have Ariana, who's our new spring 2021 intern with us today. We also have Dana, who is our fall 2020 intern. So grateful for all this camaraderie, and I'll let Bernie introduce herself, and I think we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Bernie again. I mean, still Bernie, Bernadette, whatever you want to call me, B. Um, and I'm a program coordinator for Tech Girls, and I started in November last year. So I got to help out with the program, the 2020 program, and hopefully also 2021 will be happening in person this year, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying this, and I work more on the Central Asia side of things, but I love the whole program, and so I'm always happy to get emails from any of you just saying what you're up to, what's going on, if you need a letter of recommendation, yada yada yada. Um, so yeah, let's get started. Let me screen share so we can have here we go, screen share. Can you see that okay? All right. And thank you, Dana, for this template. It was beautiful. She made that. So we have our January Tech Talks. Welcome, everyone, as Haley mentioned. And we're going to just go through the agenda. We got our welcome and agenda overview, of course. We have a few announcements before we get started. Then we'll intro our speakers, Amal and Zebo. We'll have a question and answer session. So just start, as they're talking, feel free to brainstorm questions you have for Amal and Zebo, and you can put them in the chat during the talk. We'll come back to those questions during the Q&A, and then we'll open it up for just chit chat and like, how have you been? And, this is happening in my family, in my country, networking, basically. And then we'll have a little screenshot picture and close out. So kind of a quick day today, but hopefully it'll be nice and fun. A few things, just like in terms of announcements, some ways to stay engaged. We have these new monthly Zoom networking events. So the next one is going to be January 28th, and there's a registration link. Let me see if I can. Oh, look at that. The little thing came by. I'll try to snag that link for you so that we can put it in the chat if you want to sign up for networking. That's for tech women and tech girls. So if you're just looking to, meet some tech girls, meet some tech women, get some ideas, some opportunities for mentoring, that would be a great place to do it. We also are having the very first cross-regional club summit. Usually we've had like Central Asia in one and then MENA in the other, but we're going to merge them on Friday, March 5th in a cross-regional club summit. And so you can also register for that, and we'll be putting that in the chat too. And all of these things are in the new club's newsletter that went out a few days ago. We're going to be sending out quarterly newsletters so you guys can find out what's going on with tech girls and tech women across all the countries. And in general, if you have an idea you want to share, or if you're like, man, I'd really like to practice some public speaking or something, then feel free to sign up with either me or Haley or Ariana to be a speaker yourself in one of the upcoming Tech Talks. So without further ado, let's get to the speakers themselves. We have Amal, a 2019 tech girl from Tunisia. She is an international baccalaureate student, high school junior from the American Cooperative School of Tunis. And her focus is on aeronautics. She would really love to pursue a career in aeronautics and technology. And we cannot say enough about her. Enough good things about her. She is going to tell us a little bit about financial literacy. So how do you prepare yourself financially for some of the goals you might have, like going to school, or maybe, other sort of ideas that you have for your life. those sort of financial goals. Then we have Zebo, a 2020 tech girl from Tajikistan. She is also an international baccalaureate student, studying at the United World College in Southeast Asia in Singapore, which is why she's joining us at midnight. And she has a fully funded scholarship. Congrats. She's in 11th grade, and she's also an IB diploma student. And we are really excited to have them both here. And she's going to be talking to us about how do you find and get opportunities, like educational opportunities. So let's get started. We'll start off with Amal. Feel free to take it away. I know she's got a PowerPoint, so let me stop my share.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Can you see it? I'm not sure. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we can see your desktop. Yep, perfect.
Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Amal, as Bernie presented me. So today I'll be talking about financial literacy, how to become financially literate, and what are the key concepts that you need to understand and know. First of all, I want to know how many of you like know the term financial literacy or have like encountered that in your school or somewhere. Okay, I can see some hands up. Okay. So, financial literacy is the ability to understand and use various financial skills, including personal financial management like budgeting and investing. Literacy, as we know, is being knowledgeable in a specific area, and finance is the management of money. Some statistics, so nearly 4 out of every 5 US workers live paycheck to paycheck, which means they spend all of their like salaries in monthly expenses, and none is left for savings or emergencies. Over 1 out of 4 of US workers never save any money from month to month. Almost 75% are in some form of debt, and most assume they will always be. About 40% of Americans wouldn't even be able to cover a $400 emergency, which is quite shocking if if we compare it to other like countries from all over the world. Like if I want to compare to Tunisia, even Tunisians, they don't save for like emergencies. um, so what does it mean to be financially literate? First of all is knowing how to create a monthly budget that includes all of your basic expenses, have an emergency fund, have personal or family savings for university, know the difference between interest rate and compound interest. The key concepts of financial literacy are budgeting, interest rate, compound interest, and investing. And we're going to look at them in details. So budgeting is the process of creating a plan to spend your money wisely and effectively. It is like each month you create a budget plan for like your expenses, how much money you need to save, and everything else. Um, what else? So I want to like make a comparison between two people. Let's say you're an undergraduate student and you're working part time in a coffee shop, and you get paid $100 per week, and you create a weekly budget for your expenses, so you know what you need to spend and what you need to save. And this way like you are effectively and wisely choosing the path on how you're gonna spend your money. And another person who's your friend, and they're working in the same coffee shop and they're getting paid $100 per week, but they don't make a weekly budget plan, and they start spending their money without knowing their expenses, and they may end up spending more money more than they actually need to, or more than what they have. And this is really important to do, as I said, to be effective. The next thing is interest rate. So interest rate is like an extra percentage on the total amount of money you borrow from a bank or you save in a bank. And an example of that will be if you borrow $1,000 from a bank and they say our interest rate is 10%. So when you return the money, you should pay $1,000 and 100. And this is really important to know, because some people, when they go to a bank and they say they want to like borrow money, they don't read the documents, and the documents may include that, like should include these information. And if they don't read these closely and they don't notice the interest rate, they may end up like paying a lot of money. The next concept is compound interest. So this is kind of similar to interest rate, but compound interest is slightly different. So compound interest is the interest on a loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. An example of that will be the same, like $1,000, you borrow it from a bank, and after the bank says that our interest is 10%, but this time they say it's compounding every month. So if you 1 month you pay $1,000 and 100, the next month you pay the $1,000 and 100 plus 10% on those $1,000 and 100. So it is really important to know the difference between compound interest and interest rate. The next key concept is investing. I really love this because it is an alternative solution for borrowing money, and you need to understand this, because everyone now that I know, they're encouraging me to invest in some companies. Maybe I'm a little young to invest, but having this knowledge is really important. So investing is like allocating resources, usually money, with the expectation of generating an income or profit. Let's say you want to invest in a company like Netflix or Bitcoin. So investing is like buying shares in a company, so owning a part in a company. For example, Netflix, the price of shares is $400 now. 10 years ago, it was $1. So the person who invested 10 years ago is now like a billionaire. So it is really important to know this. And you may find it a source of income if you're in university. And yeah, what do I have next? So how to become more financially literate? First of all, create a monthly budget plan. Second, save for college emergencies, like invest in companies. Start your own company. It shouldn't be like a big company. You may start a small business, like selling I don't know, masks now during COVID. And yeah, invest in the stock market. This was all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very interesting and useful. It seems like we do have already a question in the chat for you, and other people feel free to write down your questions in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask. Maybe you have some questions about your own finances and how you can kind of build your financial strength. Or if there was any concept that you're like, oh, I don't quite understand this, so it looks like.
Sorry, I think we were going to do both presentations and then the Q&A at the same time.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. So then we will do, we'll move on over to Zebo. If you want to go ahead and screen share. I know you have your own presentation. Oh, is she still here? Let's see. There she is. Okay.
Can you see the presentation?
Yep.
Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Zebo, and today I will present about my path to international education. So first, I want to say that I am from Tajikistan. It's a country in Central Asia, and in my country, many people believe that it is with the limited resources, it's hard to get world-class education. And I think my example shows that nevertheless, what is your background? It is every time possible. And in this presentation, I would like to tell you about how I got that. Um, okay. So first, I would tell you how was my process. So I started to learn English in my 7th grade. And I think that the advantage of learning English helped me to apply to many programs. And before coming to United World College, I already had um, enough background about what it is like to be here and what it is like to be in diverse community. And I had passion, which is debating. And I think that usually people who get scholarships, they are very well-rounded, but also they have one unique sphere in which they're very good. So mine in this case was debating. And then I participated in TechGirls, and my how I applied, I actually applied 2 times. One time I was rejected, and last year I was accepted. And I also was a mentor in that NGO, which is Jahoni Bofarosat. And then I also taught debating for others. And eventually, this background helped me to apply and to be accepted in these programs. And UWC, I chose among them UWC. And what is UWC by itself? It is United World College, and it has 18 colleges all around the world. And by my national committee, I was assigned to come to Singapore. And right now, like here, I have friends from all over the world, and it is so nice to understand what's going on in their country from the person who actually citizen of that country. And here is the picture of my birthday. And here we are doing IB diploma. What is that? It's basically we have 6 subjects. We are learning 3 of them in HL, it means higher level, and 3 of them in standard level. And also we have theory of knowledge, extended essay, and we have creativity, activity, and service. The main point why I want to do this presentation, because I want to elaborate more about what I learned during this all the process of applying to these programs. First, I learned that it's so important to have priorities. And in the beginning, it was hard for me to understand that why my classmates can play and they can like have fun, but why I'm studying. It was hard for me to understand that like why as a teenager I should work so hard. But then knowing my priorities, that was getting a very good education, which I had lack of in my country, helped me to make a good plan for myself. My second advice is work hard. I don't think that we have people who are talented, but um, experience shows that not all talented people are successful, but usually all people who are very working hard, they're successful because this dedication helps them to go through all obstacles. Um, and people have this misconception about the fact that they think admissions committee, they have ideal picture of whom they want to give scholarship. But I don't think that people who are investing in you, they have that perfect picture of whom they like to invest. I think being yourself and doing what you're actually passionate about. In my case, I was passionate about debating, mentoring, helping others. And I think this helped me to be accepted. And also, I think that being a scholar and having a big scholarship is not for everyone, because besides investment, it is also a big responsibility that asks you to represent your country well, and also to be the one who is coming to UWC or coming to any other program that invests in you. It is lifetime commitment. So before applying to any program, I recommend you to ask yourself, are you ready for that lifetime commitment? And my very big advice to all of you, if you are applying right now to universities or any programs, don't apply to many of them. Don't burn out. It was my biggest mistake because I applied to too many programs, but what I actually needed, it at least like your maximum number of programs that you apply, it should be 10, not more than that, because you should think about also implications of that, because you have mental health and you should definitely keep balance between your academics and social life. And then lastly, I want to say that um, don't miss out opportunities to applying to programs. I know many people who can be actually potential candidate for the program, but just the fear that they think that they will not get accepted holds them back. Nevertheless, like, believe me, before applying to these programs, I even didn't know that I can be accepted, but only applying helped me to understand that I actually can go through this um, hard application process. And if I didn't apply, I will never get accepted, right? So it means that if you have that dream programs that you want to get in, definitely apply. And every time have two scenarios. One of them should be best, of course, because you should hope for the best, but you should prepare yourself for worst case scenario. For example, in my case, my worst case scenario was staying in my country, and I really did it because COVID happened. But when COVID happened, all those people who wanted to go to abroad, they were like shocked by that. But I wasn't. Why? Because I mentally was prepared that something like that can happen, and that's okay. And actually, through remote learning, I learned a lot. I became very resilient. And I think important part of growth is more about thinking that through every failure, you can learn something. And for example, I applied to 20 universities. I did not get accepted for all of them. And they were like 5, 6 universities that rejected me. But it was actually those that rejected me taught me a lot, because I reached back to them and I asked why. And this helped me a lot. And my final advice for everyone is, don't be afraid of reaching out to people and asking and getting feedback. And this helped me in my leadership experience, because after every my conference, I tried to ask 3 to 4 people how it was, did they like something, what they want me to improve. And I think being able to accept that I was wrong and being able to understand and do it better helped me um, to grow as a person. So yeah, that is all. If you have any questions about IB or how to pass interviews or how to write essays, I would love to answer your questions.
Great. Thank you so much. Let's give both of them a great round of applause. Woo-hoo. Thank you so much. Very informative. So we're now going to open up our question and answer session. You may have been thinking of some questions. I know I was thinking about this financial literacy and international baccalaureate. I had a whole bunch of thoughts, but well, let's get to the questions that were in the chat already. If you have some ideas that are popping up now, feel free to put them in the chat. Let's see, let's go back to Amal, so a question for Amal. Do you have any recommended tools or apps that can help us with a monthly budget? Any thoughts on that one?
Yes, I while we were I saw the question. So there's a couple of applications that we can use, like Mint. It is a budgeting tool like to create your monthly expenses. There's also YNAB. There's Good Budget and Honeydew. So these are the top applications that you can use to control your monthly budget or weekly budget as you like.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good to know. I'm also starting to write out a budget, so I'll have to check those out.
And Amel, are those focused on like month to month or week to week, or does it depend, kind of how they're set up?
It does depend, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. And a question back for Zebo. What strategies to research scholarships do you recommend for your fellow tech girls? Where do you find scholarship opportunities?
Okay, I have two strategies. Strategy number one is calling to your Education USA, because as I know, every country has Education USA organization. And what they basically do, they offer free courses for people who want to apply to US. And they have program which is called College Prep Club. And this program during 1 year prepares them for finding and researching scholarships. And if you are not a part of that program, you can also write to your Education USA in your country, and they can have a 30 minutes chat with you. And I'm sure that they will guide you how to find them. But basically, what worked for me is that I made top 20 universities to which I want to go, or programs that I want to apply to. And every program, they have webinars. And the webinars are usually divided into like a financial aid process or application process. And I signed up for every webinar which I was interested in. And I think directly asking face to face, what kind of scholarships do you have? Is it for international students? Is it fully funded? What do you mean by fully funded? Is it like tuition only, or it's also room and board? It just like speaking with them helped me. And also, if you're not able to find the webinars, you can also write them email. And usually the person who answers to the email, they're very willing to have chat with you. And because the mission is to attract many international students, therefore like asking them, because website is a good resource, but many scholarships that I found, it was not from website, it was from online conversations with them. So yeah, I recommend Education USA, webinars, and reaching out by email.
Thank you so much. That's great. We got
Zebo.
one more question coming in for you, Zebo. Can you please describe your usual day at UWC? What does that look like for you? Thanks, Takmina, for that great question.
Okay, usual day, because IB is, I would say, the most challenging program for high school students. And I'm also a scholar, so it means that besides school, I have responsibilities like helping the community and things like that. So I usually get up at 6, and number one thing that I do is I read a book, and then I go to school. Our school starts at 8, and we have 4 blocks each day. Block means one class, and one class, usually the duration is 1 hour and 30 minutes. And after 4 blocks, I have creativity activity service. And after school, I have one of them. For example, for creativity, I have my own club here in UWC, and I'm teaching debating. It is my creativity. For activity, I'm helping to people with disabilities through dance, fitness, and stuff like that. And also for sports, for activity, I have swimming. So after classes, I usually have one of them. And then I like to speak with my teachers. Therefore, after each activity, I book the time with them and I speak with them every day, like for 15 to 20 minutes, just to get feedback on my progress. Then we all have dinner in the boarding house, and then we all have study time from 7 to 9, which is not enough for me at all because IB is not, it's not enough to study only 2 hours to get a good score in IB. So after I come to the boarding house, because our study time is in library, I come back, and then from 9 to 10 we have tea time. This means that going for a tea but having a chat with your community. And then after from 10 to 12 I'm usually studying, and I think it's a good flow for me because I'm not studying 4 hours straightly. I have 1 hour just talking with people, which is very good, and I recommend for everyone to have like social life. Nevertheless, how your academics are hard, because this is my coping strategy. Yeah.
So yeah, you're not busy at all. You clearly have just way too much time on your hands. We got to get you more
Yeah.
involved in things. Yeah, you also need to be my scheduler and planner, please, Zebo. That would be great. I would really appreciate you just planning out my day. Thank you. Thank you for the
Great.
question. I see there's a question from, yeah, and I also want to go to UWC now. I want like designated tea hours and like all of those activities. That's amazing. So yeah, just put in a good word for me. So next we see a question from Ariana for Amel. Just a question on how do you know what kind of stocks that you should be investing in. Also, I love that we're having this conversation as tech girls. This is like combining like finance and business and technology. I'm loving it. Go ahead, Amel.
So, like investing in the stock market is kind of gambling. So you don't know which if this company is gonna be successful in the future or not. So you're just gonna make assumptions that this company has like a bright future and you're gonna be like it's gonna be successful. But I recommend like investing with small amounts in like starting companies like I don't know, there's Bitcoin, but Bitcoin now the shares are really like expensive because everyone is investing like in cryptocurrency. um some other, like, you would like to invest in things that are online, like online shopping and stuff like that, and not things that are real. Like we're leaning more to online things, so try to invest in these stock markets. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Thanks. That's great. We've got one coming in, another question coming in for Zebo from Lena. What were your priorities or criteria while choosing your university? How did you find universities that meet those criteria?
Yeah, very good question. So I had basically 5 main criteria. Criteria number 1 was I wanted to go to a place where I would be able to get full scholarship, because I don't think that it's a good to study and to work in one time when I'm just exposed to new atmosphere. So I wanted just to study in that moment. And then I thought that it would be nice if the place where I'm going will offer me that full opportunity of just being exposed by studying. It was number 1. Number 2, it's location and how safe that place that I'm going to is. So I chose Singapore. It's a very safe country, so I love where I am right now. Third, it was teaching staff, and I mainly paid attention to professors. And I will tell you how I checked how professors are by watching videos and lectures from them. And I chose areas in which I'm interested in terms of choosing my subjects. So I watched my economics teacher lecture and then my psychology teacher lecture. and I looked to how the daily classes are going, if I liked it. So like, yeah, I applied. And also I was interested about what school offers after classes, the number of extracurricular activities and what they have after classes. And lastly, I looked to what will happen with students who will graduate that particular program, to which spheres they are going, reviews, their feedback, did they like that. And I also found from Facebook people who already attended UWC. Unfortunately, I could not find person who came to UWC in Singapore because I'm first Tajik here, but I talked with other people who were here, and so their feedback and their perspective as a student helped me to decide between US and Singapore. So that is basically it.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. We have a couple more questions coming in. One from Lena for Amal. Do you have any advice on job hunting or finding companies to invest in?
So jobs, I really recommend like looking for sustainable jobs, like jobs that will last like for the next 30 years or 20 years. We know that some jobs are gonna like vanish over time, or like less people will go into because there's less opportunities. I really recommend like fields that not I'm not really them. I mean, look for your passion first, but then also look for something that is sustainable. That's what my advice. The second thing about investing, as I said, just look for starting companies where the shares are low, like with low price. I don't know, $100, like $1 for the shares. And don't invest like a very huge amount of money, because it's like gambling. You might lose your money, and you might win. Actually, you might be a billionaire from that. So yeah.
Great. And actually, in that same sort of area about the financial independence, there's a question coming in from Miriam. As you know, having an independent financial outcome as a teenager is hard in Tunisia. Do you have any tips you would recommend to secure savings as a Tunisian teenager?
Yeah, I mean, we're Miriam, I know we're here in Tunisia. Our parents, they don't give us so much like money, but I really recommend that you apply for competitions and you start saving from that. For example, last year I participated in competition. Now I'm saving money. I, my parents, they don't give me a lot of money, but that's the only source that I have. Like I try to find different sources to save, and I try to minimize also my spending. I don't spend a lot. That's it.
It's interesting. What kind of competitions are those?
So like always look maybe national competitions and also international competitions. um there's one that I know that they always post like competitions. It's called Islamic Youth Forum, and they always do like competitions for youth, and they give them prizes. They're very generous. I really recommend that.
Oh, that's cool. That
And
is
also
great.
just as a quick note to kind of Amel's comment sparked that in me. A lot of foundations also give out really good scholarships for university or for different programs. So if you think about like large international foundations, I know Dana, I think is still on the call, maybe Ariana too. I know Dana's gotten some really great funding as well. In different scholarships and things, but definitely looking at larger foundations, like one I know that definitely gives out scholarships is like Qatar Foundation for like international students and different things like that. So there are definitely interesting creative ways to find things, and this can be for US or for international students. So, and like what Emily even said at the beginning of the call, a lot of like corporate companies also provide scholarships and funding too. So and typically those are ones that people don't know about as much, and sometimes they're a little bit easier to obtain because they're just not as well known. So there aren't, inherently as many applicants. So that's just a quick note I wanted to throw out there.
Great. Thanks so much. Looks like we got 2 more questions, and then we can segue over into a group photo. Let's see, one from Amal, asking Zebo, what subjects are you taking?
Okay, I'm taking quite, I would say, subjects that are contradicting each other. And I chose them specifically because I wanted to study the same, I want to see the things from different perspectives. And also before choosing, I really wanted to pursue the subjects that I want to study in bachelor degree. So basically we have HL and SL. HL is higher levels, SL is standard level, and my HLs are economics, psychology, and then English. And then standard level is environmental science, Spanish, and then math. As you can see here, like economics is more about profit, psychology it's more about human mind, and then environmental science is more about ecology, right? And yeah, it's very interesting to have those to have this combination of subject.
Great. And one more question, and then I guess we'll move on to the photo. Let's see. Question to Zebo. How did you feel about second round math and English test? Was it hard? Was it like SAT? Like the SAT?
I would not say that it was hard for me. It was the things that we already covered at school, but English was like TOEFL, but it's not academic journal or it's not about academics. It's more about creative writing. It can be like some passage about astronomy or more science based, but not in a very high academic language. It is pretty okay to understand if your level is upper intermediate. About math, don't study hard things like logarithms or exponents. You will study all this in 11th grade. And study the stuff that um, they call it IGCSE. And if you covered all the materials that school usually covers in that level, it would be easy for you because you know what to study. But for example, in Tajikistan, people are applying to UWC after the 11th grade. So it means that all the subjects that right now we are studying, all the themes for math, we already covered in my country. So if you're applicant from Central Asia, it's high probability that you already know all the subjects that IB will teach you. So therefore, math will not be a problem, I think.
That's great. Thank you so much for filling us in on that. So we're actually going to shift to take a group photo, and then we'll break into our breakout room so you guys can chit chat and then definitely follow up on this. I know a few more questions have come in since then, and feel free to talk about that or anything else, really just be informal. Haley, do you want to do the group photo?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And just a quick request maybe for Zebo and for Amal, if you want to put your email or Facebook or whatever contact information you're comfortable sharing in the chat, if that's okay. I know there are a couple follow-up questions that girls had, and I'm sure they'd love to connect with you. So whether that's email, WhatsApp, whatever you're comfortable sharing, if you want to drop that in the chat, I'm sure girls would really appreciate it. So for anyone, thanks, Emil. For anyone who wants to turn on their camera, I think everyone's basically on here. I'm going to pull up the screenshot thing, and we'll be taking one picture today, unless I'm blinking or something, and then we'll take it again. And I'll count down from 3 for everyone. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up.
Use my little icon.
Exactly. Yeah. Feel free to give us a smile, peace sign. I don't know how to do a dollar sign with my fingers, so I'm not going to do that. But I'll count down from 3. So 3, 2, 1, smile. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful picture. Wow, I love it. I'll attach it on our group picture as well. Awesome. Thank you guys. So yeah, the way the breakout rooms are going to go, I think we're just going to have a couple of them. There's not too many of us on the call, so it's probably just going to be like 3 different breakout rooms. So you guys have just a chance to get to know each other. One of the things that we've noticed from different surveys that we've gotten with you all is that you just really want a chance to meet other girls from other years, other countries, and be able to network with each other. And if you have follow-up questions for the presenters or anything, feel free to do that as well. The staff, so Ariana and Dana, you're welcome to keep your video and, audio on if you'd like to participate in the conversations. I know you guys are both in university and probably have some really good feedback or, advice for girls on the call today. Bernie and I are just going to be kind of the tech gurus. We're going to have our audio and video off. So we'll just be there to help if you guys have any issues. So we'll be just like silent ghosts in the background. But Ariana and Dana, you feel free to interact in the conversation if you'd like. I think that's all I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do like 15 minutes and then rotate one more 15-minute session with different people, and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go. We'll open all the rooms. Take a deep breath.
Hello.